Hey guys, Joe Madden here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. Joined this afternoon by Lauren. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren the Better and Instagram. You guys want to check her out, want to follow her, TikTok as well. Lauren, you got so much going on. How are things been?
Good. Things are great. Made a trip to the bayou a few weeks ago. I went down to Louisiana. So as you may
Nice.
recall, I live in Texas. Texas, there are no casinos. Texas, there's no legal sports betting. So Texans have to hop across the border to Louisiana to the bayou, place their bets. They can do it from their phone or go to a riverboat casino, which is what I did. And I had a grand time out there, kind of laying down some of my final NFL futures because, as I would like to remind everyone, 6 weeks to the day till NFL kickoff. I can't wait. I know, like, the gambling Twitter just can't wait. Like, we are, especially after this week of baseball. I don't know about you, but I sucked, man. I sucked hard. Like, there was a day I went 0-5. It was that day, I think it was Tuesday night.
Oof.
Like, all the dogs won. And it was
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm all about betting on the dogs, but like, I mean, I didn't think the Nationals were going to beat the Dodgers. Like,
Well, yeah, you looked at some of those games and you're like, there is no freaking way. And it
right.
happened. It happened.
It happened. It happened. I know. It was just nuts. So, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. But yeah, I can't believe we're like already almost in August. And, you know, we are like, I know I've been talking about football for a while now, but now it's like
Yeah.
you're starting to be able to, like, feel it. Like, I can taste it.
Absolutely. With only 3 days left in July after today, I'm on the same page with you. We are going to have the best division in the league. I know you're a Raiders fan. I'm a Chargers fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my opinion is the two of us will battle out this division. What do you think on that?
I think we do it. I think we do it. In fact, we're gonna have to. We still have to figure out how we want to coordinate our like Vegas trip because there does need to be a Vegas
It
trip
does.
for you and me. Maybe some of the other betting babes in the gambling Twitter community, like just throw
Could
that all
Vegas
together.
handle it? Lauren, could Vegas
There's no,
handle the
they'd
two of
have to
us
like
and
close
anyone
off
else?
the strip road. Yeah, like Ubers would get like premium surge pricing and stuff. It was just it. Yeah, it was. We almost already break the internet, right? So.
Absolutely. Well, Chris Andrews just told me rooms on him at South Point. So,
All right, let's
well,
do it.
let's do it. We got to get down there for sure. But before we do that, let's talk some SEC college football. We got the SEC. I know you've got win totals here that you're liking. What are you looking at in this?
Ooh, I got three. So I tend to talk about my futures in three. So
Okay.
first time I was on with you, talked about NFL win totals, gave my three picks, which were the Raiders, of course, Buffalo Bills, also, of course. I have a soft spot for Josh Allen, and Houston Texans over on all those three. And then
Okay.
last time I was on, I went for NFL player prop totals, which were Matthew Stafford for most touchdown passes, Jonathan Taylor most receiving yards, and then Devontae Adams most rushing yards, and then Devontae Adams most receiving yards. So
Okay.
that's what I've done. Now we're starting to get closer again to college football, even closer to college football than NFL. And I love the Southeastern Conference. So being in Texas, obviously Southern, football culture is a big part of it. There's a lot of drama, I think, surrounding the SEC this year, especially with Saban and Jimbo. So I think it's just a natural thing to talk about now that kind of my big NFL plays are behind me now. So I bring to you college football season win totals.
Okay.
So first up, Alabama. Alabama 11 is the win total. I'm going over on that one. I think it's the easiest bet on the entire board on
Yeah.
the SEC. I don't actually even see them losing any games this season in their regular season. Even with a loss, it gives us a little bit of push insurance. And I think, frankly, they're just going to sail through this season. So, at best, we cash. At worst, we get our money back in a
Yeah.
push. So I feel pretty good about it. I mean, really, when you look at Alabama, all of their best players are back. They have an elite offensive line. They've got great juniors and seniors for the folks that they've got to backfill who did end up, graduating, obviously. I'm not normally a big Alabama fan. I think I just like have a natural bias against schools with burgundy as their colors because I just don't like University of Southern California, and so I protracted that and projected into Alabama and my distaste for them. But that's where I am with Alabama.
Yeah, I like it. They went 13-2 last season and 7-1 in the SEC. They're going to have a phenomenal time for sure. I'm shocked it's only at 11. I expected 11.5 or 12.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm surprised it's that low. And it's funny, you research it, the lines, and it's pretty much unilaterally, like across the board, everybody feels pretty good about the overs.
Absolutely. What else you got for us?
All right, next up. Now for something completely different. Vanderbilt.
Well, you're not going to Vandy, are you?
I'm going to Vanderbilt, literally the opposite.
You're going to Vandy. I love it.
Yeah. But Vanderbilt is what I like to kind of consider in the SEC, like that, that Sesame Street segment, which one of these is not like the other. Vanderbilt is absolutely that. So,
poor Vandy.
I know.
She went 10 last season, 0-8 in the SEC.
I know. They just can't catch a break for themselves. And obviously it's an ultra competitive conference. Vanderbilt is just not that good. They have, I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but I think they're
under 16 points per game on average.
I was just going to say, I think it was under 16. And then I think they allowed 40.
Yeah. Almost over 40 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Against SEC opponents. It was devastation for Vandy last year.
Yeah.
What win total do you have and where are you going?
So I'm actually going to go under on them too. I think that they have an extraordinarily challenging season. I mean, they do every year, right? But their hardest games are road games. So I think Georgia is one of their road games. I think Alabama may be one of their road games. They have a couple of, tough teams at home. Again, I'm kind of just rattling off the top of my head. I may be misspeaking here, but I think Ole Miss maybe in Nashville and maybe Florida, but I mean, I don't think they get a lot of grace just from that. So, there's some juice on the play, obviously, but I think the juice is worth the squeeze on it. So, I'm gonna go with the under on Vandy.
Definitely going to be a hard season for Vandy and Vandy fans out there. What's the third one you got for us, Lauren?
Last but not least, Mississippi State. So, Mississippi State has some interesting backstory, right? So last year they won some games they shouldn't have won, and then they lost a lot of games they shouldn't have lost. They're just sort of an enigma, and then I think compounded by the fact that the SEC and a dear friend of mine actually kind of imparted this feedback to me, and I think he's spot on, which is with the SEC and specifically Mississippi State and Coach Leach's, leadership, there is some propensity for some aversion. So, you look at what their record was last year and the games they won and the games they lost, you look at it and you think, well, what happens if this flipped, which has happened before? I mean, if their record was literally flipped from last season, and you get the under. So their win totals are at 6.5. I think they're probably going to win 6, to be honest. So I feel good about hammering the under on that one. There's not a lot of margin of error. Their roster looks very similar to last year. I don't think their year is going to look all that different from what I don't think was that, I think it was a pretty lackluster year for them last year. So going under on Mississippi State. And I know that from, across a lot of the cappers, that's probably the one that I see the widest kind of spectrum of thoughts there. I think some people think, Mississippi State, absolutely. And so, the friend that I mentioned earlier, he kind of convinced me nah, I think the better play is under and the plus money on that. I think it's plus 105. So right now would be a good time to jump on it if you kind of think that eversion is a real thing in the SEC. And I think it is. So
yeah, it's going to be really interesting for the Bulldogs to see what they can do this season. We saw them get some nice big wins last season in the division, getting that win over Auburn, Kentucky, and then Texas A&M, I believe as well, that they got a nice big win over. So they're bringing back key elements, but they did only go 7-6 last season. So for us to think that they're going to repeat that production against Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Auburn, it's a hard one. So
Yeah, yeah,
like
they
where
got
you're
lucky
going
with
with
some
this.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the stars just align, and sometimes it's just really a matter of like, did they win just because the clock was on their side, or did they lose because the game just wasn't long enough? Like it's hard to always know, but yeah, I think they kind of cheated death a little bit last season, and I think that their luck may run out. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, you guys have heard it here, Lauren. Thanks for breaking down the SEC and what you're liking for those win totals. Where can people find you? All over social media. And what else do you have going on? Anywhere else they can catch you this week?
So just Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I've put out, kind of in the boredom of summer slump, have started to get like kind of ridiculous and creative with some of my TikTok videos. So don't judge me because it is a little bit out of like boredom.
We're bored. We're bored, guys.
We're all bored. I love it. I love how everybody's just talking how bored they are too, or like how badly they sucked this week in baseball. So like we're all in it together. Like you said it best. Like it's us against the books. So
Yeah.
like, let's all just kind of like win together, lose together, whatever. As long as we're having fun, like we're doing it right. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I last night I'm Mountain Standard Time. So 9 o'clock hit my time. All the games were over. And I was like, now what do I do?
what do
This is
I
boring.
do?
This is
What do
boring.
I do with my hands? I know. It's crazy. This
Yeah.
is when you catch up on Netflix. This is when you catch up with the ladies of Real Housewives of Orange County. Like this is the time you do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to check one of those out, Lauren. TV is an automatic sleeping pill for me unless it's sports. So
Yes.
trying to get back into that. But Lauren, thank you so much for joining me here. You guys, make sure you go give her a follow. You don't want to miss out on everything she's got going on. I love the TikTok videos. You say they're out of boredom. You're so creative. They are fantastic. So keep up the great work.
Thanks, Joe. So great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. We'll do it again shortly.
Bye.
Thank you.